Good morning. Wow. Isn't this room amazing? How many of y'all have had class in this room? Anybody? Oh, good. Lots of hands. Well, welcome and thank you for attending the Pacific Northwest Student Leadership Conference this morning. I'm super excited that you're here with us. My name is Brian Sheffield, and I serve as the Executive Director for Student Engagement Services, and have had the pleasure of watching this conference kind of grow and shape and evolve over many years. And so really glad that you're with us. A couple of quick housekeeping things, and we're going to jump right in and get rolling. If you go to lead.wsu.edu, you'll find a full schedule of everything going on today. There's also some schedules around the venue in the Spark this morning, but especially in looking at the workshop sessions and the full descriptions of what's happening at those sessions. So you'll want to take a look at those. On the other doors where those will be facilitated, which is 233, this room, 212, and 227. So the other breakout rooms will be upstairs, but you'll also find the titles of those throughout the day on the doors there. So we'll have lunch. We have a Qdoba bar coming for lunch, and we'll have some snacks and things throughout the day. Hopefully you all got an Nalgene bottle. So if you didn't have one already, you can stay hydrated today. Make sure there's lots of water in the building. And if you have questions, you need something throughout the day, just stop by the registration table and we'll look forward to supporting you. So without further ado, I'm really excited to tell you and introduce our speaker today. Mack Strong has been working as the Pacific West Director of the Legends program for the National Football League since 2013. He played for the Seattle Seahawks as a fullback for 14 plus years from 1993 to 2007. And as a professional athlete, Mack was known to inspire people both on the field and off the field. Former Seahawk coach Mike Holmgren is quoted as saying, "Mack is one of the greatest men I've ever been around. Great teammate, great leader." Mack has received numerous awards and accolades during his NFL career, including the Unsung Hero Award and the Ed Block Courage Award. He is also the only multiple recipient of the Steve Largent Award, which he has won 5 times. Mack was voted twice to the Pro Bowl and once to the All-Pro team in 2005. As well, he had the incredible opportunity to be a major contributor to the Seahawks' journey to the Super Bowl. My Roman numerals are 40. Mack retired in 2007 after a career-ending neck injury. His expertise allowed him to transition from a player to the Seahawks media team as a sports analyst. During his career, Mack and his wife, Dr. Zoe Heigl Strong, started the Mack Strong Teamwork Foundation, a nonprofit. The foundation, which lasted from 2002 to 2020, was rooted in their commitment to help youth across the Northwest become leaders by developing strong minds, strong bodies, and strong character. Their aim was to assist students in succeeding academically and in life. Their program served over 350 students annually through after-school programs, in-school mentor programs, and summer sports and leadership camps. Their outstanding commitment to enhancing the lives of children in their community and beyond earned Mack and Zoe several awards, including the 2009 Mark Matthews Service to Children Award, 2011 Washingtonian of the Year Award, and the Association of Washington Generals, and the 2012 Seattle Indian Health Board's Adeline Garcia Community Service Award. Mack's favorite pastime is enjoying time with his wife and their 2 sons, Isaiah and Evan, and swinging in the club at the golf course. So I'm very, very pleased to bring up and welcome, with a big Coug welcome, Mack Strong.
All right, good morning, everybody. How you guys doing this morning? I know it's early in the morning, and we'll probably have some people kind of trickling in as I'm speaking. I know it's a Saturday morning, and if you like my kids on Saturday morning, that was the time to kind of sleep in and kind of catch up on some sleep or whatever. But I'm excited that all of you guys are here. So thank you for being here. I've got some things I definitely want to share. I got my time clock up here because I can continue to ramble a little bit and go long. I promise you I won't do that to you today because I want you guys to get to that Qdoba bar for lunchtime and make sure that you guys get well fed. My name is Mack Strong. My beautiful wife, Zoe, Dr. Zoe Hygo Strong right here. She's vice provost here. And, I know just with Brian giving that introduction, having played my entire career for the Seattle Seahawks and being in the Pacific Northwest since 1993, like a lot of people, a lot of my friends thought when I decided to move over here to Pullman in 2015 that I lost my mind. Like, what do you want to do? Like, what are you going to do at Pullman? And I love it here at Pullman. Pullman is a great town. And we raised our kids with high school here, and obviously my wife works here. And my wife grew up just right down the road in Lewiston. How many of you guys know where Lewiston is? You guys have probably been down there. Okay, all right. You guys probably been down there, but you're trying to get out of Pullman. You want to go to a big city, you go to Lewiston, or Lapway, right? That's where my wife grew up. But this is my family. This is kind of my tribe right here. Between myself and my wife is my oldest son, Isaiah. He graduated from Pullman High School in 2020. And then on the right, handsome young man in the tuxedo is Evan. That's our youngest. And that picture was actually taken this past summer, just a few months ago in July. My youngest son actually was in a wedding. And a wedding of his friend who he had some friends that got married, and they were 20 years old, both of them, and they had their wedding ceremony at a winery. So they couldn't even drink the alcohol while they were there. I don't know why they did that, but anyway, so he was in the wedding. That's our family. We're so excited to be back here. We left in 2020. I know this is probably some extra info that you guys don't need, but I'm gonna share it anyway. We left in 2020 and went back to the West Side for about 2 years. My youngest son had some health issues, and so he ended up graduating from O'Day last year in June of 2022, and then we decided, hey, we liked it in Pullman. Pullman was nice. I miss Cougar Country. I miss, going to the games. I went to the University of Georgia, but I say go Cougs like everybody else. Even though my Georgia Bulldogs are the #1 team in the country. Again, you guys didn't need to hear that, but these are things I just share with people that they don't need to hear. Just being able to be here, to be in your stadium, to be in this community, we love it. We love it. I'm going to talk about some things. A lot of my background has been in sports, mostly football. Since I was 21 years old, I've been pretty much around the game of football. I went to college for 4 years at the University of Georgia to play football. And then I didn't get drafted, but I moved out to Seattle to try out for the Seattle Seahawks, and ended up having a 15-year career. Then after that, I ended up being an analyst on radio and TV locally in the Seattle area for about 7 years. And then during that time, I started working for the National Football League with the organization called the Legends Community. And what inspired me to be a part of that was somebody just called me, I was driving, I think, somewhere in Idaho, which I was luckily that I had cell reception. And they said, look, we want to start this program, and we're just tapping a couple of former players that we know and we trust that can reach out to former players and make sure that they get resources and benefits that they've earned. And so that's all they had to say. I didn't know very much more than that. I said, okay, I'm in. I'll do it. And I've been doing that now for the last 10 years. So a lot of the things, I've been around sports teams, I've been around professional sports, I've been around youth sports, everything, college sports. Brian talked about, we had our own foundation, nonprofit foundation for about 18 years. We have Sharice de Guzman here, who's a counselor for the university, who was our executive director for many years. When she decided to step down, that's when we knew we had to close shop. No, actually, it was because of COVID. It was really hard for us to keep that program going. But we reached out to a lot of different underserved youth around the Northwest, helping them to develop strong mind, strong body, strong character. Figure if you have the last name Strong, we're going to use it a lot in whatever effort we have. But that's just kind of a little bit about me. So anything that I share about you is things that, it's not just things that I've seen, I've heard, I've read about. Some of it is, but a lot of it's about experience. Okay, so I want to let you know that right off the bat. This is the experiential sort of things that I'm going to be talking about today. You'll get some other people up here that'll speak about research and things that they've done from an academic perspective, and it's all useful, right? Everything, research, experience, it all works together. And so I feel like there's some things you can learn from all the speakers that you'll have the opportunity to listen to today. So that's enough about my intro. And my wife was like, keep it moving, because already I've spent too much time on the intro. So why is teamwork and being a strong teammate important in life and in leadership? If you guys, any of the football fans in here, you see this picture. You know, this is a young man that last fall playing for the Buffalo Bills. His name is DeMar, what's his name? DeMar Hamlin, right? And he had a cardiac episode out on the football field. He actually had cardiac arrest. One of the only times in my lifetime that I've ever seen anything like this was on a Monday Night Football game. And he got a weird, it wasn't even like a vicious hit or anything. He just kind of almost bumped into somebody and fell to the ground. This was traumatic for a lot of people. Now, I know people, if you didn't hear about it, if you don't know anything about it, I'll just let you know. This is not something that a seasoned veteran, seasoned player, so somebody like myself has ever seen before. So you can imagine for people who watch TV, being on national TV, all this stuff, these things happening, this was very traumatic. But I feel like this is also a great example of why teamwork and being a strong teammate is important in life and in leadership. Because it's all about the team components that came together on that particular evening. The coaches, the players, the referees, and other officials, the first responders, paramedics, the police officers, firefighters, and hospital doctors and other staff members, friends, family. They all came together on that particular day in a very crucial moment. They all came together not to win a game, not to do well on a test, or to get some money, or for any kind of accolades or any position, but they came together to save a man's life. And he's here today because of the collection of all the different teammates that from different disciplines, different walks of life, that all came together to help save his life. And so I believe that that's why this is a very important thing that we need to talk about today. So I'm going to ask you guys to do something. Even though it's Saturday morning, it's early, you didn't get a full breakfast. Thank goodness you didn't get a full breakfast. I've already seen a couple of people yawning, so I don't want you to fall asleep. But I'm going to ask you to do something. I want you to take a moment to think about the team that you're on right now, right? Because everybody in here, you're part of a team, whether you think you are or not. It could be you and your roommate, your classmates, whatever organization you're a part of. If you are on a sports team or intramural team or anything like that, the greatest team, in my opinion, that you're a part of is your family. Everybody in here has somebody they call family. I want you to think about that right now. I want you to think about some of the teams you're on, and all the organizations and things, fraternities, sororities, scholarship programs, and fellowships. And some teams may be short-term, like a college class, and some may be group projects, and they may be more long-term things. Once you have those teams in mind, I want you to think about what kind of teammate you are. And how would others describe you on that team? Today I'm going to talk about some of the football team experiences, and I'll break down 3 fundamental principles. I promise you it'll be gone before you know it. I've got some neat slides that I'll draw some unique conclusions from. Trust me, you'll know what I'm talking about here in a second. But I'm talking about football experience, team experience, and I will break down 3 fundamental principles that I've learned and what it takes to be a strong teammate, which in turn has helped me to develop into a strong leader. Grateful for all the things that I've been able to do in the community and being able to come here, now be a part of the Pullman community, and hopefully be able to share my experience and my gifts and my talents with this community. I don't have, the clicker's not working, so I gotta be hands-on. These are the foundational principles. What does it mean to be a strong teammate? I feel like these are 3 very powerful principles that we could, that we're gonna focus on this morning. Having a strong mindset, develop strong character, and prioritize physical and emotional health. As I break down each principle, I will use a lot of football and sports analogies that are relevant to life. When I talk about preparing for a game or playing a game or the post game or any of that stuff, please fill in the scenario that is most connected to you. I want you to put yourself in your own situation and ask yourself these same questions. Whether that will be public speaking, organizing an event, preparing for a major exam, or going to an interview, or even on a date. I know some of you guys smiled when I said that. Juggling multiple responsibilities. My first point, having a strong mindset. So since I figured I'm doing this presentation, I might as well put a picture of myself up here. This is probably one of the few times I get an opportunity to do this. So again, this is this was a time, and any Seahawk fans in here? Let me make sure, let me see who am I talking to. Okay, that's it, okay? And everybody else is not, okay? All right, so this is like an away game right here. I'm in hostile territory. I better watch where I step and what I say. But this was a significant time in my life right here. So this was 2005, and this particular season was the first year that was the season that the Seahawks had ever gone to a Super Bowl. Okay, that never happened before. I know if you're a Seahawks fan or a professional football fan, you look at the Seahawks now and it's like, wow, man, they've had great teams for like the last 10 years. There was a team before Pete Carroll got there, and I was a part of it. And we did go to a Super Bowl in 2005. We didn't win. That's why a lot of people don't think that there was a team that was around. But this was a significant moment. This is an NFC championship on the right, that is. That was the culmination of a lot of things that happened that year. That was a culmination of a lot of things where we had to, everybody on the team had to really focus on having a strong mindset. On the left, that was a divisional game. That year, the National Football League's most valuable player was Shaun Alexander, who's on the right. In that first game, he got knocked out in the first quarter. The league's most valuable player, and then the ball ends up in my hand. Which, if that was one of the years that I went to the Pro Bowl and I was the first team All-Pro, but I didn't get there by carrying the football. I got there by blocking the way for Shaun. And so there was a lot of things that went into being able to be successful that year. Some things that I want to break down to you. And so I'm going to talk about some things. I'm going to introduce the concept. So when we go into a game, we have something that we call culture points. So coaches, we look at film and we dissect things, and we try to find tendencies, and we try to find things that people do that are consistent, tendencies, weaknesses, steps, just anything we can do to get an advantage. And these are kind of my culture points here. These are culture points, are just points that the coach makes that will help you be successful in a game. Okay, and one of the things that we did that year prior to that situation, that picture that you saw earlier, was we prepared. Preparation. So this would be like us. We go into a week, and we watch a lot of film. We watch a lot of film on our upcoming opponent. And like I said, we're watching that film, we're looking at everybody. We're not just watching it like a movie, but we're watching it to see what advantage can I get? Who is the guy that I'm going up against? What are his tendencies? What, on the down and distance, what does he like to do? Can I get an idea of what do they want to do? If they're going to blitz or they're going to squad or what kind of coverage? And I know all of these things probably won't make sense but to me they make perfect sense just to be able to look and to see, like from these different situations, like what's happening. So you need to assess the prior games and you develop a game plan. You say, okay, based on what we've seen on the film, this is how we're going to attack this team. And then we come up with a game plan, and then next you practice. Practice, practice, practice. All the time, you review and practice the game plan. You look at, okay, these are the things that we're going to do that we've seen on film that's going to help us to be successful so that we can win a football game, so that we can get to the next level. I can tell you this, there was a statistic, I don't know if it's really actually a statistic, but there's a thought and a feeling in football that 70% of the game is actually mental. 70% of the game is actually mental. It's about, how do I feel about myself? How do I feel about my opponent? How do I feel about what I'm doing? How confident do I feel about my success? How much do I believe in my teammates? How much do I believe that we can win? It's all of these mental things that go around in our heads, but sometimes, if you're anything like me, the thoughts in your head can be your own worst enemy. The physical part of the game is only about 30% of it. Now you got to be strong, you got to be fast, you got to think on your toes, you got to be all of that. But that's everybody's expected to be that. The thing that separates one player from another is the mental side of it. Third thing you got to do is you got to perform. Stay focused and present, and have a short memory when making mistakes. So again, put yourself in this situation. In your particular what area of expertise that you're in, what are you leading? I don't know if there's somebody in here that maybe you're part of a sorority or you're part of a fraternity or you're part of some leadership group. Like, is this the way that you are going after it? You know, it's interesting because I remember that, I remember like what it was like when we were going through that season. I remember what people were saying. At the beginning of the season, we were 2-2, and a lot of people were saying things like, same old Seahawks. Now, that may not hurt your feelings, but imagine if you are in a job or in a profession and somebody just thinks, you guys just the same old guys. He's just average. Those guys won't do anything. They'll, I won't say cook it. Okay, so people woke up on that one. All right. It's the same thing, same kind of mentality. Man, they go Seahawk it. Man, they go to find a way to stump their toe, find a way to give away the game. I don't know, before that year, the best year that the Seahawks had ever had was like 12-4. The best year I'd ever been a part of was like 10-6. Seattle Seagulls, I appreciate you reminding me of what it was like. It was like, let me just put an exclamation point on here. You guys were called the Seattle Seagulls. You're right. And I remember every single bit of it. But also, remember, we were 2-2, and I remember coming together. We came together as a team. We were like, look, we're better than this. We all believe that we can do better. We all believe that we are trained at what we can in this particular profession. We love it. It's our passion. It's what we've given our life to. Most of us have been doing it since we were kids, and we want to do something. We want to be a part of something special. And so, man, we're not going to be the same old self. We had some couple of guys that got injured, and we thought, oh man, it's going to be a hard time. We're going to have a long season. Well, we ran off 11 wins in a row after starting 2-2. After hearing Seattle Seagulls and the same old Seahawks and all of these things, basically, and I would just tell you that the key to it was obviously, yeah, we played better out on the field, but all of that started with having a strong mindset. All of that started with putting these things into practice. Guys were coming in and looking at more film. They were like, okay, yeah, I'm a good football player, and all these things, but how can I get better? How can I find an edge? Are you trying to find an edge at getting better at your job, at your organization? I don't know if things have just been ho-hum or if you're just kind of going through the motions. I don't know. We want to be a part of something great. If you want to be a part of something average or just okay, yeah, you can just kind of go through the motions and just kind of wake up and do your thing every day, but do you want to be a part of something great? And I know all of you guys came to this leadership conference because you want to know, how can I be great at what I'm doing? You come here to listen to some has-been, right, football player, right? But you came here to like, how can I be a part of something great? And I hope that you guys will take this seriously. Prepare, practice, perform. It's interesting. Dr. Carol Dweck wrote a book several years ago called Mindset, a growth mindset. It's called Mindset. But it focuses on having a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. And I know a lot of improvements and research has been done since then. I read this book like 10, 15 years ago after my career, and I was like, where was that? Where was that during my playing days? But it talked all about these things about no matter where you're at right now, you can grow. You can achieve. You can get better. You're not the leader you want to be, you can get better. Find somebody that's a better leader, ask them questions. We're going to get into that here in a minute. It's about some other principles, but you can get better. You can do better. And I love kind of what she says, and I'll kind of end out this point, this principle with this quote. She says, the hallmark of successful people is that they are always stretching themselves to learn new things. Is that something that describes you? Are you always trying to stretch yourself to learn new things? Next principle, developing strong character. Developing strong character. Now, I know somebody probably asked me about character. If you know anything about pro basketball, you see Draymond Green up there, you're like, man, what are you doing with him up there? He's not a good kid. This is out of character for him to help somebody off the ground. But I want to kind of just talk about a time in my life real quick, about something that happened to me that has never left me. My second year in the league, we had a tradition. We didn't win that many games. And so we had a tradition after we had a win that we would go out on Monday nights and we would celebrate, right? As if we won a Super Bowl or something. No, but we would celebrate just the win. And so we had this great win, and we went out to this place. It was like a pool hall in Kirkland, Washington. How many of you guys know what Kirkland is? All right, okay. All right, yeah, Kirkland. So at Kirkland, Washington, they used to have a pool hall, and we used to go there, and after a win, and we used to, have a few drinks, have food, just guys being together, like trying to build family, trying to build team, trying to be together, like, oh man, we got this win. Hopefully we can put together another win, and let's just keep celebrating this. And as things go, when you're a young person, whether you're in college or you're just a young adult living your life and you have your profession, whatever you're trying to get your degree in, and you're going off doing the next thing, that where life is going to take you. You can go out and just kind of be irresponsible. So we sometimes, this might surprise people, but professional athletes are not the most responsible people sometimes. Sometimes they do questionable things. Sometimes they drink a little too much. So this particular night, guys were having a little too much fun drinking. And I know I felt a little awkward. I don't know if any of you guys, you probably go to a party and you see people drinking, you're like, oh man, like, they should probably slow down, right, or something. And that's how I was kind of feeling, but I didn't say anything. And I didn't stay, and luckily, I didn't stay, or luckily or unluckily, it just depends on how you look at it. I didn't stay around because my dad was in town and I wanted to go have dinner with my dad. So I left, passed a couple of guys that were coming in, and I said, what's up to them? And then I left and had dinner with my dad. I got home later that night, and I turned on the television, and we were watching the show, and it had one of those news breaks, right? News break comes in, and they were showing this picture, and they showed a picture of one of my teammates' his SUV, and it was like a pancake. Literally, I was like, wow, something bad happened here. And they were talking about that there was an accident with 3 of my teammates. It wasn't just one, it was 3 of them. The guy that was driving, and there was 2 other passengers in there. They said, well, these guys, first of all, we started calling around, all the teammates started calling around, and then we found out what hospital they were at, and we all showed up there, right? It's like a room like this, and it was like 40 guys. Just like all these people, we were all just sitting there with our families, like trying to figure out what happened. And then the doctor comes out, and he lets us know. He said, oh, yeah, this so-and-so teammate, he's okay. He's got a broken ankle. This other teammate, he's got some cracked ribs. He's okay. But this third guy, and he stopped, he paused, and he looked down, and then he looked up, and we knew something was not good. He said, but this third guy, he said, he's going to be paralyzed from the neck down. And I realized at that moment that he was one of the guys that was walking into the bar when I left. Now, why do I tell that story? I tell that story because it sticks with me. I don't think I'll ever forget that the rest of my life. I don't think about it like feeling guilty, like, oh man, I wish I could have done something. It wasn't my fault. But at the same time, I felt like, what could I have done? What could I have done? I think about having strong character. It's not about just who we are when we're around other people, but it's about who we are when no one else is around. And it really made an imprint on me at that moment, like, I want to be a different person. I don't just want to be a guy that kind of goes out and hangs out with their friends, and you see something, but you don't say anything. You sense something, but you don't say anything. You feel something, but you don't say anything. Like, these were my teammates, and their lives were forever changed that night. I think about what it takes, just to be a good teammate. Buy into the team plan. Every team I've ever been a part of has a team plan. And you have to have buy-in to it. Like I said, the number one team I have right now in my life is my family. I think about my wife and my kids. What's best for them? What's best for us? How can we really just grow in our character? To be a good teammate, you got to be trustworthy. You got to be somebody that, mean what you say and say what you mean. When you say something, oh, yeah, I mean that. I can trust that from that person. Trustworthy, being honest, reliable, accountable. You're accountable on a team. You feel that's one of the first things you learn from the time you're accountable to everybody else on that team. Especially a team like football, you got 11 people. Like, one person is off track, everybody's off track. It throws everybody off, the whole team, the whole offense and the whole defense. Everybody's got to be together, one sync. I think about being coachable and being humble. Okay, there's nobody here that knows everything. I know we got some academics in here, so I don't want to offend anybody. My wife is one, but there's nobody in here that knows everything. Like, we always need to be thinking about, how can I get better? What can I learn? How can I grow? What things can I practice to get better at my craft? A couple of weeks ago, we had a groundbreaking ceremony out here for a new engineering school. And Dr. Ed Schweitzer, I'm sure you guys have all heard of him, has a Schweitzer Laboratories. It's right down the street. Very influential, very successful man. You've got a building, all these buildings with your name on the side of it, you're successful. So I had a short conversation with him, and long story short, it was just obvious that this is a man, even though he's accomplished so much in his life, he's done so much, and he's given so much back to the community, that he was still a person who's still learning. He didn't come to me with an attitude like, yeah, here, let me share some advice with you, young man. Let me give you some input. Let me tell you what to do over here, or how to be. He was asking me a lot of questions. I'm like, man, don't ask me any engineering questions, because I'm done. I'm out. But I was just blown away. What about your character? What are things that you are working on? Are you buying in? This is just a real question. Are you buying into, I was talking to my son last night, and he was like, man, both my kids are in Oceanside, California. I don't feel sorry for them at all. But they're in school, they're going to school down there, and he was like, yeah, I just realized just being away from home, being away from parents, being away from your security blanket, all that things. He's like, man, and then school comes at you, like a lot, like really fast. And he says, it says it's easy to get overwhelmed. I was like, wow, man, I appreciate you talking to me about that. We had more of a conversation about that, but I just appreciate him because he was just humble. He was like just talking about the things that were going on in his life and where he needed help and what he was trying to accomplish. And he was just trying to be coachable and be humble. Where are you today with that? Who are you getting training from? Who are you learning from? Are you just learning from yourself? Or are you learning from somebody that knows a little bit more than you? I remember when I first started having kids, I used to talk to other guys that had kids. Why? Because I never had kids before. So I wanted to know, how can I be a better dad? That's a great team to be a part of. I wanted to be a better dad, so I started asking some questions. Where are you? Here's a great quote that I thought about. It says that character cannot be developed in ease and quiet, but only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, ambition inspired, and success achieved. That's from Helen Keller. You're going to go through a lot of adversity in life. And if it's anything like my college experience, I made a lot of mistakes. I was from a small town. I got to a big campus. I was big man on campus at my high school, and I was little man. I was little fish at a huge fish bowl at University of Georgia. I don't know how many students they have that are here, but it's like 45,000 students, 45,000, 50,000 students at University of Georgia. I was like, man, I'm gonna get swallowed up. I felt like, I didn't have my security blanket. I didn't have people around me. Even though my mom and my dad were really good parents, I was sharing with them what was going on in my life, the bad decisions that I was making, the stuff that I was doing that was, inappropriate. I mean, I didn't do anything illegal. Just want to make that clear. I mean, people kind of looking at me a little funny. I did the same thing. I did some of the same questionable things that you guys probably did. But I wasn't talking to anybody about it. And that stuff started mounting, started building up. And it really had me frustrated. I mean, there's a part of me that just wanted to just shut down. But I just kept moving forward. And luckily I had some people in my life that were like, look, we can help you. We can, what you're going through is identity crisis, and you're just trying to figure out what your character is and what you want to be about. And so that's my question to you is, what do you want to be about today? What do you want your character to be? What do you want to be known for? Buy in. I hope that everybody in here just reaches all their dreams and their goals, and you can be as successful as you can be. My third and final principle. I told you I was going to have some interesting slides for you. So everybody knows who this is, right? Who is that? Captain America, right? Captain America. So if you like me, I like movies. You like movies? You like movies? What's your favorite movie? Too many. Okay, I caught him off guard. So you didn't know I was going to ask you questions. You didn't know this was going to be interactive when you came to this leadership conference. Okay, what's your favorite movie? Bronson? Okay, what's that about? Oh, Charles Bronson. Oh, okay, it's about Charles Bronson. I remember him. He was going. Well, so that's your favorite movie? Okay, all right. I like it. I like action movies. As you can tell, I'm animated and I like a lot of action and stuff like that. So I like obviously the Marvel movies. Any DC comic fans in here? Okay, you should put your hands down. No, I'm just joking. But no. So I mean, I love it. I love Captain America. I just love that idea. My kids obviously love it. But, he's a fictional guy, obviously, but he's a superhero, right? He's altruistic. He wants to do good things in the world. He's a former soldier. He has just all of those good qualities about him that probably every woman, wants to, the type of quality every woman wants to marry, right? Just he's loyal. He's good looking. He's athletic. He's just a lot of things. But, I didn't pick that because I didn't pick this picture because of all of that. I picked this picture of this character because he used to have, in every movie he's in, he has these fight scenes. And then usually in the middle or somewhere, maybe near the end of the fight, he'll say something, about it. You guys know what that line is? It's almost in all his movies. Anybody tell me what that line is? Do you guys know? Anybody that watch? Yes. I could do this all day. I could do this all day. I mean, he'll be battered. He'll be, just like teeth knocked out and stuff like that. And he's like, just keep fighting. He's barely standing. He's like, I do this all day. That's why I picked this. Because I think sometimes we think that we're superheroes and that we can do certain things all day. Instead of prioritizing mental and physical health, that's nothing to laugh about. All of us in here probably know somebody that has, either some type of physical deficiencies or maybe struggle with some type of mental health. And I just tell you, you're not alone with that. I've had times in my life where everything wasn't going the way I wanted it to, and I was having some just hard times just being able to focus, and I've had to get counseling. And that was humbling for me to do. That's humbling for me to say. I've like I said, professional athletes were supposed to be better than that, right? We're invincible. And I know some of you guys are probably sitting there right now. So, I remember being young and in those seats and thinking I can be invincible, I can do anything, I can stay up all night, I can talk on my phone all day, I can text, I don't have to get any sleep, I can play video games all day, I can eat whatever I want, just not take care of myself. I'm just telling you, you can't do it. It's not possible. It will catch up with you at some point. You will burn out. So these are healthy coaching points. Because I want you guys to be healthy. I really do. When I think about being a part of this community and what I want all of these students, all you guys in here, to leave away with this is like, man, I want to be healthy. Mind, I want to be healthy. Discipline and recovery, like just connect and unplug daily to recharge. How many of you guys in here have cell phones? Raise your hand. Everybody in here, right? Okay. So you have I have a little app on my phone that tells me how many hours, a day that I spend on my cell phone. Any of you guys pay attention to that? Yeah, some of you do. Most of you probably don't. You're like, I don't even want to know. I probably spend like a whole day on my phone for an entire week. We got to unplug, guys. Sometimes I've known that just in my own life, when I'm not paying attention, when I'm not present, and I'm looking down at my phone or whatever, man, life just passes me by. I forget about a lot of things. There was this movie called Click many years ago with Adam Sandler that he would just, what I'm saying? And you guys know, some of you guys have seen it, where he would just fast forward through parts of his life. He had this remote that could just change his life, and so he just fast forward. He realized that, I don't want to give it away for some of you, but I'm giving it away. He realizes at the end of the movie that, man, I'm missing big chunks of my life because I'm so worried about something else. And I don't want you guys to miss out on the life that you guys could have. And if you don't unplug, that stress, that focus, that eye time, that brain time, it could take away. It could take away from you. So active recovery. Do something that, hopefully you guys are doing something that feeds your mind, body, and spirit. I had rotator cuff surgery about 6 months ago, so that's my excuse for not going to yoga right now. And I'm sticking to that. But my wife we love going to yoga. We love going to just the mindfulness, the quietness, the stillness, and just allowing ourselves to just decompress from life because it comes at you fast. Especially as young people in college, you got all of these people coming at you. Oh, come to this party, come to this thing, and do this, and join this, and now you got all these classes. Study all the time and everything. It can be overwhelming. Take a day off each week. During my playing days, we had 1 day a week off. It was a Tuesday. And it was interesting because people used to always call me like, "Oh, what are you doing tomorrow?" I was like, "Man, I'm gonna sleep in. We're gonna go to the movie. I'm gonna hang out with my wife and my kids." It was like, on a Tuesday? I was like, "Yes, my only day off." I was like, "Well, that's crazy." I was like, "Well, there's no other day. That's my day. That's my Sabbath. That's my time to really reconnect with my family." And I really encourage you guys, pick a day of the week where you guys just unplug and you guys just are still. I did that this morning. It was amazing how it's amazing how hard it is, right? Because I wanted to do something. I wanted to turn on the TV. I wanted to look through my notes again. I wanted to look on the computer. I wanted to get on my phone. I wanted to do all this stuff, but it was just hard just to sit there and just to be still. And I want you guys to try to do that. Try to do that. It'll help you be a better leader. What does that have to do with leadership? It'll help you be a better leader. It'll help you be more calm. It'll help you be more in tune. It'll help you to think. I realize that I think about things. Ideas come to me when I'm just sitting still and I'm just quiet. Take a day off. Mandatory recovery, There's times where things just happen and you have to get away. In my world, if you get hurt bad enough, you go on IR, injured reserve. You're done. Can't play anymore the rest of the year. I had a career-ending neck injury that ended my career, and I had to get my neck fused. And it was kind of a blessing and a curse because I was trying to figure out, how many more years am I going to do this? Even though I wasn't fully loving it, I was like, the money's pretty good. I'm not going to make any more money, doing something else probably than doing this. But at the same time, I was like, this can't be my life. And so I had that neck, that career-ending neck injury. I had to it was hard, but I had to make a decision to step away. And I had to make sure that I was talking with people about that. It was hard. It was hard for me. It's hard for me when you've done something your whole life just to walk away from it. So I had to make sure I get some help with that. I told you guys about already that I had to get some counseling, just because I wasn't in a good headspace. And so I just want to make sure, guys, that I really want you guys to be healthy. And I'm grateful to have this opportunity to really share with you kind of some of these principles. I feel like they have really served me well over time. And I think if you will let it will serve you well as too. Like having a strong mindset, having strong character, and then just really being able to prioritize your health and physical well-being. I was talking with my son the other day, my youngest son. I was telling him about this, and I was like, telling him about the whole Captain America thing, and he was like, I took that to mean, I thought you were going a different direction with that. So I realized that has a double meaning too. He said, whenever I see that in the movie, I take that as meaning he's not going to give up. And I think that's so true. And that would be just the last thing I'll leave you with. I don't need notes for this. I'm just telling you, like, don't ever give up. Don't ever give up on your dream. Don't ever give up on yourself. Don't ever give up on your community. You feel called to do something. You feel called. You feel inspired to be a part of a group. You feel inspired to make a difference, or whatever. It's going to cost. It's going to have a price. Number one, it's going to cost you something. You know, it's going to be some adversity with that. It's going to be challenging. But I just want to encourage you: just never quit. You know, I've seen a lot of guys in my lifetime. One of the great, I guess, blessings and tragedies of my job of working with the NFL, I see a lot of guys. I see some guys that transition well and that are doing well in their careers, their post-football careers, and that are doing great things, and they've taken the lessons that they've learned from the game and they've moved beyond it. And they're putting all of these things that we're talking about into practice. And their lives are thriving and being successful. And then I see other guys, they're not in that same situation. They're in a totally different situation. They're in a situation where they need crisis. We have a crisis hotline where they, you know, I had a situation the other day where I had to tell somebody, hey, this is a 1-800 number. If you are in crisis, you need to call them right now and help him make that call. Help him get that help and that resource. Don't ever quit. Okay, you guys are here at this institution. You guys are at a great school. You guys really are. I mean, I talk about being at the University of Georgia. This is a way better school than the University of Georgia. Don't tell anybody I said that. Okay, just, all right, don't say that on the recorder. Take that, bleep that out. No, I'm just joking. I really am just very grateful to have been here. The leadership that you have, President Schultz, the provost, and the chancellor here, all the other chancellors at all the other institutions, and I've yet to meet somebody that I just wasn't impressed with, who just didn't care about students and care about your well-being, and that are willing to be here for you and to serve you, and whatever your aspirations are moving forward in life. And so I'm grateful just to have had this time with you. And I just thank you so much for this time, and I wish you the best. I know that there are other classes and breakout classes and things, and I would just, my encouragement to you, soak up everything. You can learn something from everybody. Something that you didn't get from me, you'll get from another speaker. You know, something you get from another speaker, maybe you got from me. I hope this has helped you, but I wish the best for all of you. Thank you, and go Cougs.
Yeah, go Cougs. Give it up one more time for Mack Strong. So some of you may have seen Mack he's going to be with us throughout the day. He really wanted to be a part of more than just this morning. So you'll notice he's doing a session after lunch where he's going to talk more about how WSU totally outplays the University of Georgia. But also he's going to dive a lot deeper into his message this morning and going into that strong character and beyond. So I know I mentioned before, if you're not aware of the sessions that are coming up next, lead.wsu.edu has the schedule with all the workshops and the descriptions, okay? So we've got about 10 minutes before those will kick off, so get some more coffee, get some more snacks. After this next session, we'll have lunch ready for you. And lastly, before I let you go, check out those sessions. I failed to mention, I know many of you got an email about this iPad Air that one student today is going to leave with today. So at the end of the day, so stick with us. There's so much more coming today. If you did not swipe in presents this morning, you're going to want to make sure you do that because that's what we're going to pull this from. I also did not mention, but we have a number of our global campus students that are joining us via live stream right now. So welcome to our global students who are watching this. They're also eligible, so stick with us on the live stream. We'll make sure that you're in the drawing for that as well. So enough from me. Go find your next sessions, and we'll see you shortly. Thanks, everybody.
Try to nap. I bet after that Qdoba, you guys got your bellies full. You ready to go to sleep? Well, I went home and took a nap since I live right down the street. I don't want to rub it in, but that power nap just did me a lot of good. Am I getting some reverb here? Am I getting some echo? Yes, I am getting that. Can we get rid of that echo? So, okay, it's gone. All right. So, what did you guys think about the class? What do you guys think about the conference so far? How's it been? It's been good. What? Okay. What stood out to you the most so far? Right. Mm, right. Cool. Can I get the notes? You didn't take any? It's all in here. Okay. All right. Anybody else want to share kind of something? What did you get out of this morning? What did you get out of my class? Out of my presentation? Everybody wants to be Captain America. Captain America has a double meaning. You can't do this and you can do it. So, all right. Was that? Yeah. Yes.
So I kind of took it as sometimes when you're thinking about what your character is, you need to look at it from your lens,
Mm.
but then you also need to step back and think about it from the lens of what other people see as your character. Because sometimes there can be differences or just different ways of seeing how you see yourself. So it's not about being more difficult with yourself, but it's understanding that there's two different ways.
I love that. I love that. I don't know if you guys heard what she said, but actually, we're gonna. That's what our kind of breakout session is going to be a little bit about. Is kind of how other people see us and our characters and things like that. We can have a lens about how we see ourselves, but there's the echo again, man. Get to deal with that. But yeah, but when real change, I think, takes place is when you get to find out, like, how do other people see? How do they experience me? You know, those are things I'd like to know. Just keep going. All right. Yes. Mm. Excellent. I like that. Yeah. We're all integrated in this world, and whether we know it or not or like it or not, we're part of some type of team. And so whether it's your family or whether it's your coworkers or your classmates in this room, we're gonna have a little team thing in this room. Like we're all you guys are in here together, so we can learn from each other and just the ideas that you guys have. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Knowing what your own goals are and work towards them. Excellent. Excellent. I like it. Anything else that stood out? Here's some things you guys. I was thinking about. I was like, I didn't know it was gonna be this many people in here. I was like, okay. But I was thinking about. Here's some things I want you to think about. This is things you can write down maybe on a piece of paper, and we can have a little bit of a discussion about it. Um, think about maybe, and I like to. This is gonna be interactive because I think that's the best way we can learn. And plus, I like just calling on people, and I obviously like hear my voice over and over again in the background. But think about what team you're a part of, kind of right now. Maybe you could be thinking about that, and then what's your role on that team? What's your particular specific role on that team? And then, as you think about that, maybe what character qualities do you think they would say about you? I want you to write that down. Yeah, what character qualities do you think the people on your team, whatever team you're thinking about, right? What character qualities do you think they would say about you? What character qualities would they say that you have? And maybe, lastly here, last question, what scenario do you think they would say that you have a weakness in terms of character? So before we get into that, I wanted to just ask you which of these, and these are just, again, these were experiential things for me with all the teams that I've been on. But I would like to know from you, what are some of the things on here that really stood out to you that, in terms of these coaching points, that you want to, that you thought was just whatever, that you thought, oh, that's an area I need to work on, or that's something that describes me, or what off of that list, if anything? Yes. Mm. Right. Yeah, we're real good at giving advice, and real bad at following through on it. So I could understand that one. Anybody else? All right, who would like to share about just their team that they're a part of, and then what your role is on the team? Who would like to share that? Yes. Uh huh. Okay. Right. Right. I like that. So you guys are holding each other accountable. Okay. All right. Anybody else want to talk about? Yes. Mm. That's some hard work. That's some hard. Hopefully, you have some other ways that you could get self-care with that, because I know just working with people who are in trauma a lot. Yeah. So part of my role with the NFL Legends community is that I reach out to former players and make sure they get resources and benefits. And so, from time to time, I run into guys that are in really bad situations. Some guys have been homeless. Some guys needed a job. Some guys were dealing with substance abuse. Some people ostracized from their family, and so we have to get a lot of us got training in like suicide prevention and other things, just de-escalation, and so yeah, that work is that's heavy. That's heavy, but I'm glad you're in that space. Anybody else want to share? Yes, sir. That's man, it's funny. My kids, um, it's funny about them is that they both live together now in Oceanside, California. And when they were living with us, I think I count on one hand how many times they kept their room clean. I mean, even when they went off to college and we moved, like there was like literally leftover pizza underneath the bed, and like uh, mold and old food, and I was like, how in the world do you guys do this? And you guys are on the same page with this. You guys are cooperating with each other. So yeah, that roommate deal, I know. And is it somebody that you know or somebody that's a complete stranger from? Oh, okay. So yeah, what's that been like? How did you guys kind of get on the same page about with your apartment? Yes. Yes, that always, yeah, we don't want it stinky, you know. We want to have people over here. We don't want them running away. Yeah, I hear you. I would want to be in a room. I wouldn't want to have a roommate that's a real messy person. I had that at college, and that didn't go well. Anybody else? Yes.
I'm part of the library reference team on campus.
Okay.
I work as a reference assistant. So my whole job is helping patrons come in, answer their research questions or library questions.
Hmm. So is it you and some other people, or is it just
Yeah,
you?
so I
Yeah.
work with all of the Holland Terrell Library librarians,
Okay.
and I'm a student reference assistant for the research department
Right.
at the Holland Terrell Library. So part of my job is helping connect students with their subject librarians, and then helping students or faculty, staff, or community find answers to research questions or
Hmm.
materials throughout the library, or help them with printer questions or navigating the building questions.
Right. And so how do you guys communicate? How do you guys find that working together and with as a teammate? How does that play out?
So kind of interesting because being a student, you come with a certain perspective, and a lot of our librarians have been around for a long time. But we communicate a lot through teams, and we have like a question and answer on our team page where like we can ask questions if we don't have the answers to
Hmm.
related information. But being a student worker, sometimes our librarians will talk in library code, is what we like to say, and then we're like, we need you to reduce that to student language because we're not understanding the library.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's learning different communication strategies within our own team, and then how do we make sure that when we're talking to people who come to the library that we're not using that library code versus everyday language.
Right. Communication. That's, to me, is one of the number one barriers I think that could throw people off in terms of being on a team, is not speaking the same language. I mean, I'm not just talking about the same audible language. I'm just talking about being on the same page with, like, talking about things in the library or whatever. You on the sports team, and you talking about, you just saying the same lingo and on the same page. There could be a lot of miscommunication with that, and so being able to be in a place where you speak the same language, yeah, that is huge. How about this? Who wants to share what character qualities do you think your teammates would say about you? Yes. You got is the person next to you. Is that one of your coworkers? Oh, he's not. He doesn't count. Okay. You think you're funny, huh? Okay. All right. That's a great quality to have. That's a great quality to have. We had a guy on every team I've ever been on. There's always been somebody that thought they would like that they had the gift of gab, and they were really good at telling jokes. I was like, man, leave that to the professionals. Um, but it's always, you talk about somebody being able to have create levity and light moments and things like that, being funny. That's a great quality to have. Awesome. Anybody else? Yes. Mm, mm, appreciate that. I appreciate your bravery in sharing that. I think that I'll get to you in just a second. Yeah, I appreciate your bravery in sharing that because I think humility and transparency, although I didn't, you definitely didn't need to be that transparent, but I appreciate it because I think it makes those type of comments and those type of stories and that type of behavior, I think, really helps people let down their guard and know that, I think it just can create a greater, I think, just working environment. And plus, I think for me, being in these situations, been on all these teams, and hearing what guys were going through, it's funny because when you play 15 years, on a team, I feel like at times I spent more times with the guys in the locker room than I did at home. And because we just had a very strict schedule, but we were at each other's weddings. We've watched, we've been there at each other's births, of our kids. We've seen, people decide to split and go their separate ways in marriages, all of these things. My wife, you guys saw her earlier today. We just celebrated 25 years this year. And I appreciate the clap. I'll take it because because the divorce rate for in the National Football League is like over half. I think it's probably greater than the national population. But anyway, I think when I think about that transparency and trying to be in somebody else's shoes and understand where they're coming from, I think it gives you just a better platform and ability to be able to help somebody, and to feel close to them. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I'm an oldest sibling and a senior here at school.
Okay.
I would hope that my team members think of me as somebody who's still willing to learn.
Mm,
Even though a lot of times I do have a lot of experience or just a lot of knowledge in topics of conversation.
mm-hmm.
I know the sort of person I feel like who gives off the impression of having knowledge, I've been told. So I just hope that they know that I'm always willing to continue learning and
Mm.
take new perspectives.
Right. That's huge. Never stop learning. Never stop learning. Never stop growing. I think I told the story earlier today about Dr. Edward Schweitzer, and just the fact that being around this man who's great accomplishment, and he's giving back to the community, he's giving back to the college, and he's just has made breakthroughs, in his field, his area of expertise, and just for him to just be asking me a lot of questions about my life and what I'm learning and things I've done. I'm considerably younger than him, and so I just felt like, wow, that's a really great attitude to have, to be humble and ask a lot of questions. That's the best way to learn. What about anybody want to share what somebody may think you have that's a weakness? A lot of people throw their hands up. Okay, on this side. Nobody over here feel like they have any weaknesses. Everybody, okay, all right. Okay, right here.
I wrote down I have a lot of different teams I thought of, but my campaign consultant internship is my biggest team right now. I'm an intern for them, and they don't hate me. I have very good positive feedback from them, but I think the negative thing they would say is that I am busy and ambitious, and I dedicate my time to like a lot of different things. And I think they would like it if I could kind of hammer down and like give my all to one. But I like put myself in a bunch of different positions, so I have to kind of allot my time to different priorities.
Okay.
But ideally, like especially in a campaign, there's so many different aspects, and they would like probably to have more of my time and more of my dedication than I can give right now as a student
Mm-hmm.
and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. So are you running for something, or are you helping the campaign for somebody else?
I'm a consultant for like congresswomen,
Okay.
mayors, all that type of stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
I help them with their campaigns. My goal is to run my own campaign one day, but
Really?
that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah.
I like it.
Congresswoman for sure.
I like it. I like it. Well, I wish my mom was here. My mom actually, when we moved back here in last year, my mom and my sister moved out here. My sister is just about finished with her PhD. She's working at the middle school. But my mom she was in politics. and she campaigned. She was actually a city councilor where we grew up in Georgia, and she was actually a presidential appointee in 1992. So she would have a lot to say to you. She would give you a lot of advice. Matter of fact, after this, give me your make sure I get your information, and I would, man, my mom would, she would, I promise you, she would love to just help you out with that. Yes. Did you have your hand up? Okay.
So I'm also an intern. I work at Hanford in Tri-Cities Planning Center. I'm in performance oversight, and so basically anything that's wrong at Hanford comes to our office. And basically, everyone who's on our team has been working at the company for like decades, literally. So I'm like the youngest person, and I'm like on a stretch assignment in the group, so I'm technically temporary, but I think they want to keep me on. I don't know. But my, I would say my weakness is like being over analytical or like kind of overstepping a little bit because like I am just an intern, I am new to the field, and like I'm a little over analytical. So they've given me a lot of like procedures to read and things, and I'm like, okay, well this is wrong. And
Right.
trying to help them fix it.
Right.
Because a fresh set of eyes is beneficial, but also like, is that really my place? Maybe not.
Gotcha. Okay, but you're the one that have to find things out, have to find problems. You got to problem solve. Okay, I can understand that. Yes, right. I know you had your hand up, and then we'll get the back row over here.
Yeah, so I'd say the weakness of character that I have on my team is I have a fairly large knowledge base for research, and I love to share that, but sometimes that's not what people need to hear.
Mm,
So it's working on not saying too much.
pull it back. Right. Okay. All right, that's good that you recognize that about yourself. Yes. Back row. Distracted. Right. What year you? What is this? What year is this for you? Your second year, sophomore year. Okay. All right. That's pretty common. Pretty common first couple years of college. Where you from? The West. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's pretty common. You know, when you get to college, like I was saying, my sons are finding this today. You know, it's like getting overwhelmed, right? It's a lot of stuff coming at you. You have to be responsible. You have to have a roommate that keeps his room clean. You know, you got to get to class on time. Your parents are not waking you up, and all of these things. Yeah, that's a big deal. Okay, distraction. Well, I think all you guys back there. Yeah, just the whole row. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now the truth is coming out. We first talked about, hey, I have a partnership, you know, roommate. We try to keep our room clean, but you didn't tell me I'm the problem. It's really on me. Okay. Next. Ooh. Right. Ooh, that strikes close to home. Okay, all right, yeah. This person doesn't want to ask for help, but help other people. I get it. I get it. Yes, sir. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Great. Let me ask you this question. And this is, like I said, this is just going to be interactive. I like coming and just asking questions and like hearing what you guys have to say. I feel like the answers are out here. You know, you already know how I feel about things, but I want to know how you feel. So how do you grow in character? You guys came in here to this breakout class for a reason, and so what are some of your ideas of how we can grow in character? You can use any of the things that are up there that we talked about, but there's a lot of things that you can use that's not up there. And so I'm asking you guys, what do you think you could do to grow in character? Yes.
I find a lot of value in like mentorship and
Appreciate that. And that's a great point. Like, everybody should have a mentor, right? Somebody that they can go to, that can give them advice, give them input, another pair of eyes, I like to call it. I mean, it's always good to have another pair of eyes on kind of what we're doing, and maybe somebody that's will be honest with us. You know, I'd say, you know, I probably have at least 3 to 5 people in my, you know, guys that I go to in my life that I will bounce ideas off of. Say, hey, what do you think about this? I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? And that's amazing how much that's helped me in my life. Yeah, so mentorship. Anything else? Yes. Mm. That's I did this one time with my kids. She said just be willing to listen to anybody that didn't hear her. I did this one time with my kids. I was just like, hey, I want to know how to be a better dad, right? I really want to know. And you know, if any other parents in here? Any parents? I'm the only parent. Oh, okay. So I'm the expert in the room. Okay, all right. I just wanted to know that. No, but when you become a parent, you know, you wanna be, you know, the best parent you could be. And so but sometimes because you're a parent, you think, oh, I know everything and I'm gonna tell everything to my kids. But I really learned over time. Like, if I really wanted to know from my kids, if I really wanted to learn, I just sat down and asked my kids, say, hey, what do you see in me? What do you think? And just not say anything. I remember one time we just sat down, I asked them that question, I just took notes. And they got finished, I was like, thank you. You guys can go do your thing, and I'm gonna go figure out how I can do this list of 100 things that you guys think I should be as a dad in order to be a better dad to you. But just listening my point is just listening. That's a great way to grow in your character. Yes? Right? So you get too excited. So you think you should be more calm? Okay, all right. I haven't. See, in my world, you know, my old profession, it's like we amp each other up. Like, we go around, slap each other on the head, and kicking each. You know, we doing anything we can tick the other guy off, so he go out there and play really hard. But to calm each other down, okay, that's another approach for another time. Obviously, that wouldn't work in every situation. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. I really like what you said. I didn't dig too much into this in my presentation. The last point about learning now for future successes, and what you said about adversity, was exactly what I was thinking. You know, I've tell this to my kids. I did a lot of motivational speaking and stuff like that over the course of my career and my life. But I've always told people, you know, a setback is always an opportunity for a comeback. And so, anything you're going through right now with your team, roommates, job, personal life, any of that stuff, and you have a setback, have some adversity, that really is an opportunity for you to grow. And but the important thing is you have to see that as an opportunity to grow, because if you're like most of us, if we see something in adversity, we're like, oh, I want to go around that, right? That's like you know, off limits here. I don't want to go through any of that. But adversity is the things that really helps us to grow and makes us become better people. Yes. Come on. Yes. 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 I totally agree. Yes, being able to face our fears. I don't even want to ask in here what people in here are afraid of, because I'm sure we all have something, right? I know for me, one of the adversity things I'm dealing with is not having my kids here, and so having young African American, uh, good-looking, smart, athletic kids living in Southern California together, and they're young men. They're 19, they're 21. I'm like, they're right at that age where they're probably doing something stupid right now. And that I'm concerned about that, to a little bit. And that's one of the other things I did on my break. I made sure I connected with them. So, yes. Adversity? Yes. Mm. Who in here likes trying things that they're not good at? Raise your hand. Okay, you're a rare breed. What is that like for you? Rank horses? Are you a rodeo? Do you ride horses or whatever? Okay, okay. But getting on them, you love that? Oh man, God bless you. I'm glad there's this. You're probably one of one right now in this room that probably likes that. How do you see that benefits you? Mm, excellent, excellent. Some other people had their hands up when they said they like doing stuff that maybe they're not good at. Who else was that? You? Yes. Mm-hmm. New experiences. I like that. I love that. New experiences. I think a lot of times we don't grow, or we kind of get siloed. I know for like guys like myself, that have been around sports their whole life. If we're not careful, that's all that we could just kind of stay in that lane. That's all we know, right? All we know. I know all things football, but I don't know about other areas of life. If I'm afraid to try new things. And so I've been doing this myself. I'm glad you brought that up. I've been really trying to get out of my comfort zone and to do things that I know I'm not good at. And the reason why I don't like doing those things is I don't like getting poked fun at. I don't like getting laughed at and all these other things and especially by my kids. My kids are, ragging on me about stuff. But I'm liking, the fact that I'm learning how to cook. It takes pressure off my wife, and it brings us closer together, and it exposes me to something different. I like the fact that I'm doing this. Like I used to do a lot of motivational speaking. It's been a couple of years since the last time I've done a presentation like this. But now that I'm doing it again, I'm like, oh yeah, I really like this. I like being in with young people and helping people to grow and change and become the best versions of themselves. But the biggest thing is that just new experiences. New experiences. I appreciate that. Somebody else had their hand up. Yes. You and then you. Mhm. Right. Yes. Yes. I appreciate the guys down at Les Schwab Tires. I really do appreciate them because I don't know how to change a tire. I don't know how to fix a flat. I don't. There's a lot of things I don't. I just didn't grow up like a lot of my friends grew up. Their parents, they hung out with their dads or whatever. I was always playing sports and stuff like that, so I never learned some of those things. But I love it when I go find other people that are experts in other fields, and that's good. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm. Right. Congratulations. It seems like that's a common theme. Kind of throughout the room is just doing something you're not comfortable with, or just doing something that may cause you, a little bit of fear or trepidation, and that's understandable. Um, but you know what? You know what I realized too at this age, this is a great age and a great time where you can try new things, because if you fail, the consequences are way less minimal than when you get to my age. You're 52, and you try to do something different. That it's more of a it can be more of a detriment to you. So you guys are at an age where you can. Boy, I tell you what, we have a world that really needs people that are willing to go out and do something that they're not comfortable with doing, right? We need people to speak up in areas that not a lot of people are speaking up in. There's so many things that need to change, in our society, and and I don't want to get into all the politics and all the stuff that's going on, but you guys see it, hear it. You guys know there's a lot of things that need to be fixed, right? We need to fix kind of just what's broken, and you guys are going to be the ones to help fix that. You guys, with your character, with your bravery, with your ability to face fears and push through them, through adversity, and persevere and discover, come up with new ideas and new pathways and new innovation. You guys are going to be the ones that sort of change the world that we live in, and we need we need a real shot in the arm of people around with good character, for sure. And so, I know I'm looking at a bunch of faces that are guys that are going to be people that are going to be changing the world. Maybe got time for maybe a couple more comments. Maybe some people, again, what are some things that you think your team would say you need to grow in or you're weak in? Yes. Mm. Right, right. Yeah. Again, got to kind of just speaks to what I was just talking about. Yeah, got to think outside the box, see other people's perspective. Um, Man, that's the way. That's the way you're going to grow. That's the way things are going to change. Anybody else? Yes. Mm. Mm. That hits close to home, right? The imposter syndrome, right? You can't. Um, and I used to have a phrase to tell me, you can't give somebody what you don't have. Um, and so, just try to be authentic, and that's what. And I know this is I know this generation, you guys are on the phone, you're on social media and all that kind of stuff, um, and it's really easy to kind of pretend to be something that you're not, or even in real life. But to really be authentic, be the real version of who you are, and I I would say let your actions really match your values in life, right? And there's obviously you're giving back in a way that you feel like you had some trauma in some areas, and so I'm sure that's probably therapeutic for you. But boy, I'm sure that's that's something that really brings you a lot of joy, a lot of comfort. So that's great. Maybe a couple more people, and then right, like you're like the number one volunteer person. Like I wish I had something here to hand out to you or something because I feel like you've been just
No, I think one of the weaknesses of character I have and my supervisor has told me to work on is actually my lack of self-compassion. Yes, I should try new things, but with that, I also need to have compassion for myself
mm-hmm,
when I realize that this is outside of my ability, or like I can't step into this new zone, and it's okay, and I need to be okay with not being okay with it, and
right.
having that self-kindness.
Yep, yep. I would call that the airplane syndrome or the airplane phenomenon. She was talking about just having more compassion for herself. That's one of the things that maybe the people on her team would say she needs to, where it's an area of weakness and where she needs to grow. You get on the airport and you're sitting down, and the flight attendant, they're explaining all the different, everything on the plane, and they go and start talking about the oxygen, and they tell you, what do they tell you to do? Put your oxygen mask on first before if you have kids, before you put it on your kids, right? And I think that analogy is really true in life. Like, we got to make sure that we get what we need, we get filled up, so that we can really help somebody else. Because again, we can't give somebody what we don't possess. I've been a part of. I was telling you guys earlier that we had my own nonprofit for 18 years, and so that's 18 years of fundraising. That's 18 years of going into schools. That's 18 years of being around young people and doing camps and all of these things, and it can get tiring. And I know that there were times where I cheated those kids, for not on purpose, but where I just didn't have the energy inside of me to give them what they need. When the kids come in, we had an in-school program where we actually partnered with the school, and we would go into the school and we would talk about character. We would talk about things like just nobility. What does that mean? And how can you have that? And why is that important? And how does that help you and your community? And how can that help your fellow man? And all of these things. And so just going into those situations and having to, interact with those kids and do those things for all those years, there would be times where I'd be like, oh man, I just don't feel like it today. And I probably gave them less than what they deserved. So we got to make sure we're filling ourselves up. We talked about that in the health piece, right? Just making sure that we're getting enough sleep, trying to exercise, trying to take care of our bodies. We only got one body. The thing about, I was talking about my kids, I talk about them a lot. One of the things that we're going through with them is that, man, we spent thousands of dollars now on their teeth, on their dental stuff. Like, they just, over the years, they drink all these sugary drinks, and then their teeth are like, they got cavities all over the place, and they got to get root canal, and they got to get wisdom teeth. I was like, man, you guys got to start taking care of your teeth. That's all you got to do. Please just take care of your teeth, because you are costing us a lot of money. But just take care of yourself. You gotta be able to take care of yourself, And when you guys leave out of this room and you guys go back to your lives and your teams and what you're a part of, I hope that's something that you heard loud and clear here. Like, really, self-care. Like, be compassionate to yourself. You can't give somebody something else that you don't possess. And I know everybody, you wouldn't be sitting in these seats on a Saturday afternoon if you didn't want to do something great in your life. You didn't want to serve other people and be a great leader in this community. And so I applaud all of you guys for all of that. And I wish you the very best luck. I think my time is about up here. So I wanted to let you guys know, though, I will be around. I know that there's some other classes and things going on. I will be around until I think 4 o'clock or 4:30. Brian, you guys are giving out the iPad. Yeah, so nobody better not go home. If you want the iPad, you better stick around here. But I'm going to stick around and sign autographs, take pictures, any of that kind of stuff. For anybody who cares or wants to do that, I'll do that. But man, I think I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate this class. Like I said, this breakout class was, I feel like we can learn from each other, just being this interaction. And you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about each other. And you can learn from each other. And I feel like hopefully that'll help you be something to help you be successful moving forward in your life. So thank you, and go Cougs. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm sorry, yes. Oh, all right, put me on the spot. What's a character quality that I would, what's a character quality that I need to work on? Man, there's so many. I would say just being consistent. I would say being consistent. I've been kind of up and down a little bit. I could, be in and out. Here's one that is really, that's really the God honest truth. Like just finishing what I started. I've started a lot of different projects. I started writing a book. I've started, writing. I actually started writing a movie script with another friend. I started doing some of all these other things, but I haven't finished it. I've been doing it for like 2.5 years, but I haven't finished it. So my wife is holding me accountable to that. My friends are holding me, and now I've said it to all you guys. So when you see me, you're like, how's that book coming? But I am. I'm writing a book, so just finishing what I started. I think that's important. I think we can start a lot of things but finish nothing if we're not careful. And so I really want to finish that. All right. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
So I've got a little gift for Mack. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you.
As Mack was, give it up one more time for Mack, right? Yeah. So I don't know if you all got to see him play on the field, but I certainly watched a lot of those touchdowns going in the end zone, and it's really exciting for me, especially to get to meet him through this process. So, like Mack said, after our last session, we just have one session left. Coach Cammie Etheridge, the women's WSU basketball coach, will be joining us. Because you're here with me, you'll get a little heads up on what's going on. So she was planning to be here in person. And there was a last minute recruitment trip that she had to go on. And so she's like in Sweden or Switzerland or something like that. But she figured out the time difference and all of that. And she's still going to be joining us live. She's going to join us through Zoom or through the stream. But she's also has one of her star players who's actually going to come and speak with us as well. Eula Matega. I will look at her name and say it right next time. But she's going to say a few words, and then she'll be able to introduce Coach Etheridge. So we've got about a 15-minute break. That will start at 3:40. That'll be our last little piece. And then, as Mack said, he's offered up to do some autographs and things for anybody that's interested as we follow and close that. So take a little break. If you saw the schedule, I'll apologize to you all now. I flubbed the Ferdinand grabbers, which was my plan to have for this last little break. So I don't have those for you all. So I'm going to have to figure out how to owe you all a grabber. But take a little break, go for a little walk. We'll get going again in here at 3:40. So thank you all.